Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today we're setting off on, well, what I can only describe as an utterly fascinating and maybe just a little mind-bending exploration. Our mission, if you choose to join us, is to really get stuck into a singular, captivating source. It's a book that doesn't just promise secrets. It claims to unlock the actual workings of extraterrestrial technology.
Yeah.
We're talking advanced propulsion, interstellar travel, a perspective that really challenges, well, almost everything we think we know.
It really does. It's not often we come across a source with such a bold premise,
Yeah.
one that says, this isn't speculation, this is revelation. So for you listening in, today's deep dive isn't just about what the book claims, but also how it frames getting that knowledge. We'll carefully unpack its assertions and think about the extraordinary context it supposedly came from. It's kind of an invitation to consider the boundaries of belief, really.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The source material for today's journey, the one making these huge claims, is a book from back in 1991. It's called Dragons and Chariots, an explanation of extraterrestrial spacecraft and their propulsion systems.
Yeah.
And the author, Wesley H. Bateman. Now, right away, what makes this source really stand out, what grabs your attention, isn't just the title. It's how Bateman is described, almost casually, as a renowned telepath.
Renowned.
Yeah, renowned. That's not your average job title, is it?
No, definitely not. And what's particularly striking here isn't just the claim of telepathy itself, it's the scale of it, the duration. The source flat out states the data Bateman gathered was received via telepathic communication with extraterrestrials.
Right.
But get this, it wasn't like a sudden flash of insight. According to the book's description, this whole process took, well, an impressive 28 years.
28 years. Wow.
Almost 3 decades, imagine that. Ongoing, direct mental contact, supposedly just to gather this specific tech info.
28 years.
Yeah.
That's a career. It really makes you stop and think about what that actually implies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're not talking about a gut feeling or some vague sense of connection here. This is presented as like direct, sustained, long-term chats with aliens, beaming complex technical specs straight into someone's head.
Exactly.
If that's the method. I mean, how do you even begin to square that with things like peer review or empirical evidence? It's a whole different way of thinking about knowledge.
It absolutely is a completely different paradigm. And, if we connect this really unusual way of getting information to what people actually see, the book clarifies these are the extraterrestrials visiting our planet in craft we have come to call flying saucers, or, as they generally referred to, unidentified flying objects, UFOs.
Oh, okay, so it links it to the familiar UFO phenomenon?
Right.
So while the method telepathy over decades is highly unconventional, the subject matter, these mysterious craft, that's something people have talked about for, 70 years now? It kind of grounds the more out there claims about telepathic blueprints in something people already recognize, conceptually at least.
That's a really good point. It frames this incredibly wild claim within something that's already part of the cultural conversation. So if these telepathic messages are providing details on flying saucers, then that leads us to the core stuff. What does the book actually say it explains? And this is where it promises to get super specific. Dragons and Chariots isn't just waving its hands about alien tech. No, Wesley Bateman claims to shed light on some very distinct, detailed parts of it. The description lays them out almost like a course syllabus. It's quite a list. First up, it promises to explain spacecraft generally. Okay, broad enough. But then it immediately goes into propulsion systems. So not just what they are, but how they move, which immediately makes you think, right, anti-gravity. Warp drives, something totally beyond our physics.
Yeah.
What kind of propulsion could justify 28 years of telepathic study?
Exactly.
To claim you understand the propulsion systems, that implies, well, a lot more than just seeing a light in the sky. It suggests a mechanism. And then what's really bold is the next item on the list. The book claims to explain gravity itself.
Gravity.
Yeah, think about that. Gravity is still one of the biggest mysteries for us in many ways. We've got Einstein, sure, but a complete quantum theory of gravity still missing. For an extraterrestrial view to offer an explanation, wow, that's a monumental claim. It suggests they understand the universe in a way we just don't yet.
It really does. Okay, and then there's this one element that just kind of hangs there, totally mysterious and honestly really intriguing. The dragon, capital D, which implies it's not just any dragon, but something specific, an entity, a piece of tech, a living part of the ship. That, for me, is the hook. What is the dragon?
It's a fascinating placeholder, isn't it? The capitalization definitely points to something specific, something central. And alongside the dragon, the book also mentions manipulated light.
Manipulated light. What could that even mean?
Well, that opens up all sorts of possibilities, doesn't it? Advanced power sources, communication, maybe even propulsion itself. Think sci-fi. Laser sails, cloaking devices, maybe bending space-time with light. The phrase alone suggests a mastery over physics that makes our current tech look, well, pretty basic.
Totally. And finally, the scope just balloons out to the biggest scale imaginable. Interstellar and intergalactic motherships.
Whoa.
Not just little saucers zipping around, but massive vessels crossing the space between stars, even between galaxies. The sheer ambition here, covering gravity, propulsion, this dragon thing, manipulated light, and then these enormous motherships. It's quite something. It's presented as a complete package deal straight from the source, like getting the owner's manual for a UFO.
It really is. And when you look at everything Bateman claims to explain, it's not just random ideas thrown together. It's presented as a coherent, if complex, picture of alien civilization and what they can do. It's trying to answer the how and why behind UFOs using this direct telepathic link as the source. For anyone familiar with UFO literature, this positions itself right at the revealed knowledge end of the spectrum, way beyond eyewitness accounts. It offers a full narrative, even if we can't verify it.
You know, it really makes you think about the impact. If any of this detailed technological information could ever be proven true, we're not just talking philosophy. This is supposedly about blueprints, about how things work in a universe maybe far more advanced than ours. For me, the interstellar and intergalactic motherships part is just mind-boggling. It suggests a civilization operating on a scale we can barely comprehend. They haven't just mastered physics, but the insane logistics of deep space travel and maybe colonization. Okay, so beyond these incredible claims about the content, what about the book itself, the physical object? When did Dragons and Chariots actually appear? It was published on June 1st, 1991. The publisher was a company called Light Technology Publishing. Physically, it's a paperback. Pretty slim, actually, just 71 pages, written in English, standard book size, 5.5 by 0.25 by 8.5 inches. And for anyone trying to track it down, the ISBNs are listed as ISBN 10 0929385454 and ISBN 13 978 0929385457. All the usual publishing details for some very unusual content.
Right. And here's a key detail for anyone interested today. The source we looked at explicitly says the book is currently unavailable in paperback on Amazon.
Unavailable.
Yeah. For a book supposedly holding such revolutionary insights, being physically hard to get on a major platform like Amazon is interesting. It suggests you'd probably need to hunt through specialized dealers or secondhand markets to find a physical copy. That often happens with these niche publications, doesn't it? Small print runs, availability comes and goes. Makes finding this revealed knowledge a bit of a quest.
Right, not just a one-click purchase. But despite being out of print physically, the source does mention digital options, which is great for access. It talks about downloading the free Kindle app to read it instantly, or using Kindle for web right in your browser. So while the paperback might be elusive, the information itself, the text, is still accessible if you have a digital device and, well, the curiosity. The knowledge isn't totally lost.
Good point. And to put this work in context, it's also helpful to see how Amazon actually categorizes it. You won't find it under physics or aerospace engineering.
No, I bet not.
No. It's filed under religion, spirituality, occult, and paranormal UFOs. That categorization alone tells you a lot about how it's perceived and who the expected audience is. It's not aiming for scientific journals. It's for people exploring, let's say, alternative explanations.
Makes sense.
And the source even gives its Amazon bestsellers rank. It's listed as hashtag 447 in UFOs books, and overall something like hashtag 3,640,826 in books. Now, being hashtag 437 specifically in the UFOs books, niche, while not a massive bestseller overall, actually suggests there's a pretty dedicated readership actively looking for this kind of material. It shows that within its very specific genre, it has made a mark.
So what does this all mean for us, for you listening? These rankings, the categorization, they point strongly to a dedicated, even if niche, audience. Dragons and Chariots isn't trying to compete with mainstream science books. It holds a specific place within the UFO genre, within that tradition of exploring the unexplained alternative views, sometimes channeled or revealed info. It signals that reading it is a journey into a particular belief system, a really interesting corner of human inquiry. Well, our journey through Dragons and Chariots has certainly been something else, extraordinary, really. We've looked at a book that plants its flag way out there in unconventional knowledge territory, claiming to offer an explanation of extraterrestrial spacecraft and their propulsion systems straight from telepathic communication with extraterrestrials. We've touched on these fascinating, almost mythical details. The Dragon, these vast interstellar and intergalactic motherships. It's a unique claim to fundamental knowledge.
Absolutely. And what we really need to stress for you, the listener, is how distinct this source presents itself. It's not framed as just speculation or even science fiction, though it definitely touches on those themes. No, its own description presents it as conveying specific technological information directly from non-human intelligences. That premise alone sets it apart. It challenges our usual ideas about how we learn things, how we check things, how we share knowledge. It asks us to maybe open our minds to possibilities beyond just what we can measure in a lab.
Spot on. So here's the final thought to leave you with. If, as Wesley H. Bateman claims, a renowned telepath really can spend 28 years receiving specific technological information about advanced alien craft, what might that imply about how human understanding could potentially expand beyond our current scientific methods? What other huge secrets might be out there waiting for someone open to that kind of unconventional long-term communication? And what other dragons might exist, not in old myths, but as like fundamental parts of a cosmic reality we haven't grasped yet? It's something to ponder, isn't it? What really counts as knowledge, and where might it truly come from?